Hey everybody, welcome back. It has been 3 months since I have done a live stream show, and man, it feels good to be back. Please bear with me. I am at a new location, and where I am has terrible, terrible internet. So I am really, really hoping that I am able to go without any glitches. We had some technical issues in the waiting room, or during the green screen, the backstage. Oh, I couldn't think of that word. And so bear with me. But to get started, comment your city and state so I can shout you out. Those of you who are watching, thank you for being on time. But I would like to shout you out. I'm going to let in my team. We've got a couple friends in the back who I'm going to let in. All right. Let's get this conversation started. All right, y'all. I'm crossing fingers for this internet connection. Hey, guys. All right, feel free.
How you doing?
There we go. So feel free to unmute yourself. You guys, you're the first crew back since my 3 month hiatus. I have been doing a lot of stuff, been traveling. I have moved, and it's nice to get this conversation off with a great cast. If you guys would like, you don't have to share where you're broadcasting from, but for those of you who would like to, feel free to share where you are watching from, and we'll get the conversation going.
I'm watching from Maryland, close to DC, Washington, DC.
Welcome, welcome. We got East Coast representing. Anyone else want to disclose their location?
I'm
Virginia.
Virginia.
Oh, nice. Very nice.
I'm in the dirty South. Dirty South Atlanta, Georgia.
Very nice.
And
I'm in Maryland, outside of DC.
All right, we got two Marylands. Oh, it looks
So-
like we're freezing.
So we got 3 people that's from the DMV.
Very nice. It looks like there was
Who's that?
our first little glitch. We'll see. Hey, Mike, welcome. Y'all,
I'm actually from El Salvador.
we have the
Wow.
So what time is it for you there? I wanted to ask you that, Saida.
Right now it's 6:03.
Oh, okay. Oh, see, that's right. You're only 1 hour ahead. I'm forgetting. I have a friend who's in Ghana, and he's always like, really, I think it's like 12 a.m. for him right now. Those of you who are just tuning in, I am coming to you with a terrible, terrible, terrible internet connection. So we are trying this to see how smoothly it goes. If it glitches a whole lot, then we'll just have to, stop the show. But I'm praying that we will have a miracle and somehow we will have enough of a connection. All right, so let's see here. Let's get into this. And y'all, next week, I was telling them next week, I am going to be trying to use StreamYard for the first time, which I'm excited about because it is way less janky than trying to use Zoom and this. So pray with me. Pray for me, I should say. All right, so the very first question we're going to get into, we're going to talk about social media. Do you think that social media has more so helped with dating and relationship, or has it hurt? Because obviously, it opens up people's options a lot more. And it's easy to communicate, but is it a blessing and a curse, or a curse, I should say?
I think it's both. I think it's another venue that you can use in order to meet people and expand your stomping ground or your territory. But it just depends on what you want to use it for. It's just like, a gun can be used for a good purpose and it can be used for a bad purpose. So it's the same thing with social media. You can use it to, meet somebody that you might have never met before, somebody from El Salvador, maybe, or whatever. But some people use it for cheating purposes. And I got instant access to, for this or that. So it's like it's the mind frame of the individual. So it's not so much the platform that's bad, what you can say is good or bad. It's the person.
I like
Definitely agree with that. I definitely agree with that. It's all up to the person. What was social media created for? It was created for immediate access to family and friends, something that you can share quickly with your family and friends. But as we know that that the world has a way of taking something that was meant to be favorable and then turn that into a bad apple. So is social media good or bad for dating? I think it's a little of our both. I see it as a pro because it opened up an avenue where you can meet people from from any continent. So that is the pro side about it. The negative side about it is that the person can be anyone that they want to be, and you don't find out who that true person is until the face to face meet.
The catfish.
Yeah, I absolutely
I
like that.
think,
No, go ahead, Sada.
yeah, I will agree with Isaac and Kenny. Um, I would say that we try to blame anything else. We try to blame social media instead of saying it's us using it. It's us. We are the responsible of the usage of it. Like we can see the pros and cons of technology. So it has developed us, humanity in such an amazing way that we cannot blame technology. We're blaming the people using it behind it. Just as Kenny said, um, you know, I personally don't like Snapchat. I think it's for like the younger, generation. I don't see the purpose of me having a message and everything will be erased in 24 hours. I don't find that, you know, I don't see the purpose of it. I'm not hiding anything. So why would I want that to, you know, not show there? I
Right.
think it's the purpose and the reason that you using stuff. So I definitely, it's like we should stop pointing at fingers at things or people instead of saying it's your fault, it's their fault. No, it's us. We are the ones, the responsible ones.
I think it's kind of like money, how people try to blame money and say that it's this horrible thing. But the reality is, I think it kind of just magnifies what the person is like, or power. If you were a jerk without power, you're probably going to be magnified as a jerk. Or if you're a jerk when you don't have money, you're going to be even a bigger jerk with money. So if you're a cheater and now you have access to reach people with your fingertips, then you're gonna use it for such. Um, he prototype Daz says Snapchat is for cheaters. No receipts. Did anyone else want to weigh in?
I agree with everyone in that social media can be used for transformation for people who want to grow, and it can also be used for confirmation for people who want to stay the same. They'll find an audience there that will agree with them, and they don't have to be any different.
Yeah. Interesting stuff. Now, it's interesting. I think it was Isaac. Was it you saying you could be anything you want on social media? Was that you who made that point?
Mhm.
I don't want to credit the wrong person. I hope it was Isaac. Okay.
Yes.
And
Yes.
it's interesting. It's
Yes,
the
that is correct. I did say that.
perfect. It's the perfect segue to shameless plug. But I just launched my community, my online community. I had my Facebook group for so many years, and I had been wanting to take it off of someone else's platform because it's a little scary being under someone else's control. But that was one of the main reasons why I wanted to create the community, is because when you back in the day when everyone was dating within their town, you had a reputation. Isaac Davis, that meant something. We knew your family, we knew the kinds of things that you did. And I think it's so easy to reinvent yourself, and just be whoever you want to be. So if you don't have any sort of accountability, if you don't have anyone who's been able to say, oh yeah, I dated him, or this is the kind of thing that he's known for, it could be a little bit scary. So one of the other things, did anyone else want to weigh in on that before I move on? I don't want to skip anyone before I move on. Okay. What about this idea? I've heard people say that because there are so many perceived options, people don't tend to stick around and really get to know somebody or work through it. So do you think that we have a grass is greener on the other side mentality when it comes to, just swiping and not really starting up meaningful conversations with people?
I don't think so. I think that again, it has opened up. We have the ability to not put all of our eggs in the nest at one time. That is something that it has created. It has created an environment that allows you to look at several different people at the same time, and then
Uh-oh, got our glitch.
Person. So is it a grass is greener on the other side? For those that's always looking for something better, yes. But for those that are intentional in what they do, then I don't think that it creates that for them.
Okay, and I do want to ask my audience members, is it glitchy for you guys? I mean, is it really grainy? Because my preview, it doesn't usually look this grainy, and it's looking really grainy. So those of you watching the live stream, just drop me a comment and let me know. Someone was about to say something. I didn't want you to lose your thought.
Yeah, I wanted to say that when people is looking for something better, as Isaac said, there is a problem. You will never be satisfied because there's always someone better looking. You know, like you have, and it's just like stuff because that's what you're doing. You are looking at and pretty much like putting someone's value based on their look and not who they are. So that's why there's always someone like I have an iPhone. Hey, guess what? iPhone 15 is coming up, and you will want that. You know, hey, you have a car, and you look at this one. You have this car. It could be the last one. You know, the last model on this car last year. But then you look at the other one. It's like, you know what? I also want that one. I will go with that one. So it's like it's things because we can modify them, we can change them. But the essence of a person, their soul, you know, their energy, who they are, that's unique because each human being is unique.
Yeah.
Simple as that. And that's why you will never be satisfied if you look at people like based on just on what they look.
Yeah.
Just let me rewind and ask this question real quick. So to make sure I heard the excuse me, the question correctly, are you asking if social media or the internet has made it for easier access for us to continue searching instead of being focused on one person or having access to one person? Was that the
Right. Having that attitude that I have just all these options, so I'll probably get something better. Let me just keep.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So my answer to that is yes. But like I said, it always goes back to the individual itself. I mean, so whatever platform that you're doing, whatever door that you're going through, it always depends on the individual. But in regard to does it make it easier and does it give you more of a temptation and more of a nonchalant, well, hey, if that one doesn't work, then I got 18 more I can swipe right on, you know, I can do whatever type of deal. But, you know, because when you think about it back in the day, even, you know, in the 1920s or before, you know, you had to travel 20 miles to go meet your next person. You see what I'm saying? So
Right.
you was like, hey, if I find that one, we gonna make it work regardless.
We go together.
And it was literally it was literally till death do you part. But nowadays that doesn't mean anything, you know what I mean? It'd be like, oh, next, or, you know, whatever. So it's like, yeah, as far as access wise, it does make it a lot easier for you. But then that could have been a good thing because you could have met somebody and you tried to make it work and you'd be like, and then you didn't, you know, back in the day, you was like, but you know, like think about the arranged marriages. They had to make it work. You know what I mean?
Right.
So this, it can be, like I said, either.
Well, I think people do use social media for, like, the grass is green on the other side because there's so many people. It's a wide range of people, and if you don't like this person, you can go to the next person. If that person don't have what you want, you can go to the next person. So I think they do use it as that.
Yeah.
And they do it when they're married. Because you can use social media. You got your phone, you can be in your car, in the grocery store, and your wife or your husband don't have to be with you. You can just go in there and do whatever.
Yeah. This is a good transition to my next question. I wanted to know this. Have you ever been on a dating app and you swipe right? So you voluntarily chose to give this person the green light, but then they message you and you didn't respond or you just never reached out. Can you guys admit if you've ever done that?
I've never used a dating app.
Oh, okay. Well, then there you go. None of you guys? Okay.
I have. I'm on one now. I'm on one now.
But are you guilty of the swiping right? I wanted to really understand, and those of you watching, maybe you can help. But I never understood that the swiping right and then not commenting. It would be one thing if the person didn't swipe and you just don't want to hurt the person's feelings. But if you actively swiped right, the not responding thing, is it, you think that as people have already made a connection since they've swiped, maybe? Or
Right, so it depends on how the app is set up. So some of them, most of them are now setting up to the fact where it's like, if a man swipes right or likes your picture or likes your profile, it's not going to connect. He's not going to be able to talk to that individual until she, also says that she likes it. So you can leave a comment. Some of them you can't leave a comment. You just hoping and praying that that person will be like, oh, I like him too, type of deal. You know what I'm saying? So the suspense is there, but whatever. But yeah, so it just depends. But I've swiped right on a couple of people and then never messaged them at all, even though they might have returned the like. But I was like, nah, I'm good. Never mind.
Did you just have a change of thought or a change of heart?
Yeah, kind of looked at the pictures a little more and read more of the profile. Because, so men, I'm going to be honest, so like men, we're stimulated by sight more than we are. Like a woman, she wants to read, she wants to know what he did for the past 5 years and all this kind of stuff. And men would be like, oh, she cute, swipe right. Or she ugly, no, never mind. Or this and this. And then after we swiped on it, and then we'll kind of read back and read the profile or try to find out what it is, stuff like that. But that's why I always say, women will always say, women are attracted, they are, they go with attraction as well. But there's more women that will talk to an ugly dude than a guy will talk to an ugly woman, because we're attracted to, sight and touch. But a woman will be like, oh yeah, I'll talk to them because he's so nice, but he might not be all that to look at, but he's such a nice guy inside. And guys, no, we don't do that.
That was a good woman impression. He's a nice guy inside. If you guys can do me a favor and smash the like button if you are enjoying this show. I'm loving the comments, you guys. I'm seeing all of them. So I'm going to admit this. I have done it before, okay? And I had to figure out what it was, why I did that. And I realized it was, I think sometimes you can get on a swiping frenzy and you're just like, yeah, you're feeling really generous. But then when they actually commit to writing and you go back and look, you're like, well, maybe. Maybe there's not so.
Did I really swipe on that person? What was I thinking? How much did I have to drink at that time, didn't I?
Oh my goodness, that is so funny.
I have 3 reasons I think it happens. At least, my focus is always, not on immature folks, but more mature people, mature men.
No.
Sometimes people, if they don't, hear back from you in 3 days, they will, they'll unlike you. And it's like, wait, why am I working overtime? I'm working special projects. I got my side hustles. The second reason, same as the first one, timing. Mature men will prioritize for best compatibility, so that we can't possibly keep up meaningful conversations with everybody. And so a lot of times we just won't respond to every person, because we want to make sure we have good exchanges with people, and it doesn't make sense for you to be on and off and on and off. And that leads me to the third one. Again, the third reason is timing. Once again, mature men, we have to prevent ourselves from burning out. If we're trying to keep up with women, and we know that the studies say that women have about 10,000 more words on a daily basis in their vocabulary than we do. We need some respite. Online dating can be exhausting. And so, mature men, we have full lives, and patience produces the prize in the end.
And shout out to the people who go beyond. Oh, go ahead.
What did you say? I personally have used it in the past, and but in my description, I didn't put any pictures of me completely. So it was just like hints, like just my eye and then just my lip or like my hair, just part of my hair. So it was like hints that it's me, but you cannot see my entire self. And the reason why, because that creates a filter. So I am a salesperson, and I wanted to just automatically, if you are a person that is only interested in the look, you are automatically swiping left on me because you cannot see me. So I don't have to deal with that type of people. And then in my description, it said that if you wanted certain type of interaction, I wasn't interested on that. So you have to build a connection with me, you know. So everything was stated there,
Yeah.
and it was kind of like it was funny because it was like, have you seen the table nutritional bars on food?
Oh yeah.
So it was stated as the nutritional table. So people will find that interesting, and they will actually have to read that in order to see, what type of personality I had. So I was kind of like already, betting in a way or filtering. So it was hard for me not to respond because their comments, it was very always positive on based on my profile. And there was a couple maybe that always would just do you know what, I'm just gonna swipe whatever. And the only reason why I literally ignored their messages because of the type of approach they had. Like they were very rude or immediately just trying to say something dirty, or I was like, I'm not even going to waste my time on this, and just remove the match. But that's the only reason I would say I've done it.
So would you be comfortable if a guy didn't have his pictures up? If he messaged you?
Yeah.
I always compare it to when someone doesn't have pictures, like, because for me, I've never seen it on a dating app, but I have had it on Instagram where someone messages me and their page is private and they have like a graphic for their icon, their profile picture, and I always say I equate it in my mind to walking down the street and hearing a voice on the other side of the fence. It just throws me, so I'm like, I can hear you talking, but I can't see you. All right, so I'm gonna ask this question. Have you, let's see, what was I gonna ask if I wanted to say? Okay, have you guys ever been catfished on a dating site? Have you ever seen somebody and their pictures were clearly old, or worse, just it wasn't even them at all?
I got catfish before the term catfish even came around. Yeah, I had a situation. Remember, what was that old thing before even Facebook? What was it, Black Planet?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Remember Black
MySpace? Oh, MySpace?
MySpace, Black Planet,
Yeah.
all that stuff. Remember all the old ones? So I was on MySpace one time talking. This is back when I lived in Alabama, and I was talking to this person, this female, and they back and forth. Now you got hints now how to, if somebody's trying to catfish you, really.
Right.
But back then, it's like start of the year and really know. But this person, yeah, when I went to go meet them at the restaurant, they was not the person at all. Matter of fact, it was a dude. So, yeah. So.
Oh, you buried the lead.
No, hold on. Look, I'm on my flip phone, right? That's when we had flip phones back then, right? Hold out the antenna, make sure I got good service.
Not the antenna.
And, yeah. So I'm coming, I get off work, I was like, yeah, because we chatting online or whatever. I was like, yeah, let me, jump in the shower and get ready because I just got off work, and they respond back, yes, or whatever. So I said, I'm gonna meet you at the Carrabba's up the road. Carrabba's was right up the road. So I'm on my phone with this person, walking into Carrabba's. I was like, well, I'm here. Where are you at? I don't see you nowhere. Like, oh, I see you walk over to the back corner wall. Walk over there. And I'm walking over there. And then I see this person. I was like, man, this can't be the person I'm talking to on the phone, because this person like got real strong, man. Fit, pictures or whatever. I get closer. I hung up my phone and turn around, walk right back out. I said, oh, hell no. You're not going to get me. Baby.
That is not okay. What do they think is going to happen that you're going to be like, well, I'm already here, we'll just go with it? Like,
I'm cool with it? Yeah, I'm cool with it. Right.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it was crazy.
I have only had someone get me with the weight thing, and I've told this story before, so people who've seen my show have probably heard this before. But he used his picture from a really long time ago, and you know it's a bad sign when you see someone and years later, because you know people get on dating apps and kind of get off and get back on, and you see the same people with the same photos. That's like a huge sign. But the guy, we ended up meeting up, and because I had known him through social media, I did not push for him to do the video pre-date that I normally do, because I felt there was a little sense of, you know, security, not security, but, you know, familiarity. And oh wow, he had to have been easily like 100 pounds more than the picture. And it was just like, this wasn't a little love handle situation. This was like, yeah, yeah. It was so awkward.
Wow.
Yeah, super awkward. And that's also why I don't like really having too much of a conversation with somebody or getting too involved until I've seen the face to face, because I feel like the dating app, it's so different than real life, because in real life you see the person first. And as much as it might sound shallow, I mean, we're not looking for best friends. We're looking for people that we're eventually going to sleep with. So you physically need to be attracted. And so it was just really awkward having this like flirtatious banter, and then suddenly it was like wah wah wah. I've had people ask me to do straight up. One guy told me to do a full turn. It was such a turn off because he didn't do it in a slick way. It was like we swiped right. He was okay with the video chat, which I was like, cool, you know, he's gonna not be a catfish. And then had the nerve to be like, oh, can I see? He tried to say, see your outfit. And I was like, sir, you're not slick. But he wanted me to do a full turn. I was like, now you're doing a little too much. Oh, Lord. So anyone else get catfish? I think that's as bad as you can get, Keenan.
It's happened to
To
me
me,
multiple times. Oh, go ahead, Saida.
Yeah, multiple times.
Dang.
Yeah,
I
no,
learned my
it's
lesson. But go ahead.
same thing that Kenan pretty much like it happened like a long time ago. Used to use Yahoo chat, like the chat room.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And I met someone like, you know, he was really cool. Like he had a really cool personality. I think if he would have like show himself, you know, straight up, like without lying, I definitely would like him, because his personality was really cool to the point that when I find out the truth, I felt disappointed of him doing that, not how he looked. And he was really like he was actually older than me, but not too old. And I guess that's why he was like, you know, probably doing this for, because I was 20, probably I was 20, maybe. And he was about 30, 32 maybe. And like, yeah, he was older, but 32 is not old.
Yeah.
You know, I'm 36 now.
He didn't give you the choice.
I'm not thinking that he's old. Now I'm not thinking right that he's old. But I definitely think that his personality was really cool. And when I noticed him, I was then, I'm like, I really miss talking to him. Like, I wish that he wouldn't have lied to me and things like that, because he was really cool. But it was his mistake, though.
Yeah. Ay, ay, ay. What about you, Mike? You said multiple times, huh?
It happened multiple times to me in the beginning until I caught on what was happening. It usually happens, at least in my case, it happens with plus size women
Yeah.
who use very creative camera angles and photoshopping in order to come up with a completely different photo of themselves. And so when I caught on that if all the pictures are just face shots, you know, or if they're all like, you know, high and far away and stuff, then I was like, okay, I finally found a pattern. And so it was, you know, eye-opening. I mean, they were wonderful people, great conversations and whatnot, but they were not representing authenticity and
Right.
honesty, you know, to a man, and value his time and his money, because he's trying to get to know you. You know, in my case, I'll still go. I'm not going to walk away from the person. I'll still, you know, sit down and have dinner with the person or whatnot, and then
Uh-oh. Little glitch.
Catfishers, the people out there, men and women that do the catfishing, do you guys do that? And y'all, and your everybody, anybody can respond, but do you guys do that knowing that you're not wanting or going to see this person and you're just doing it for conversational purposes? Because most men are going to want to see a woman if they, start talking to them and want to spend that time. We're not, just like he said, we're not in wasting our time. We don't like wasting our time. So that doesn't cross your mind when you make your profiles, or
Right.
this is where the catfish is out there. Like,
No, you know what? That's a very interesting question. I have never done it, but it's really, really interesting to find out what goes in the back of their head. Probably they are hoping the person to really like your personality first, and then
it's not gonna
forgive
matter
your
anymore.
lie.
Yeah,
Forgive your lie.
right. That's
Which
gonna
is the
trump.
case that happened with this.
It's gonna trump that I got this extra 100 pounds on me, but hey.
I think
we gotta
also-
have a conversation.
I think it's a matter of insecurities. They're insecurities. They're just trying to hide that, some way, somehow. Because I personally think I cannot, especially nowadays with technology, don't expect me to spend one day and have an intention with me talking and not do video call. I hate texting. And I put it like from scratch. I say, hey, look, I hate texting. So we're going to be calling each other, sending voice notes, especially because on the voice notes you can hear a lot of things, and then you get to know the person more, and
Right.
with video call it's easier. It's easier. So I can't do that.
I think, Keenan, to answer that, because I watched that show Catfish, when it was on, what was it, I think MTV or whatever, and they would ask that question a lot to people when they were finally discovered. And I think what it is they know that there's no longevity in it, but they're going to ride it until the wheels fall off. So it's like, I'm going to have this relationship with this person for as long as I have, just like any scam, and then kind of just figure it out when it happens. But yeah, it's really sketchy. There was a guy who was pretty famous. He was in the NFL. I think he made it to the NFL. It was a guy from I want to say Hawaii, and this guy had a crush on him, and so you saw that, right? There was the documentary. Yeah, so the guy pretended to be a woman, and it was the same thing. He was just kind of like, how do I think this through? So he tried to kill the character and all that. So it's a lot of work that it takes for people. All right, we're going to switch it up, get a little bit more serious now. When it comes to mindsets, have you guys seen, and you can obviously answer this question from the opposite sex perspective, but have you seen any reoccurring patterns in mindsets, like nowadays, mindsets that are really a turnoff, guys for women, and then for us women for men? Have you guys seen any sort of patterns where it's like a reoccurring mindset? So for me, I'll start off by saying this. I come from a traditional background, so a guy coming in looking for me to bring finances to the table, I have seen that as a kind of a reoccurring pattern. That's a mindset I'm not down with. Have you guys seen any other patterns that are kind of, modern? It's a new thing that just does not work for you?
Yes, some going Dutch. You pay for your own meal, I pay for my own meal. If you're doing that, he like, or you gotta pay. I don't have to pay. Or if you ask me to go out, you pay. Because you asked, not me.
Yeah.
So you're saying that you're more of the traditional standard of back when men always pay for everything all the time. That's what you're saying.
No,
Or-
not all the time, but if we're on the first date, you can pay. They'll go Dutch with you on the first date. You pay and I pay.
Yeah, because women want to do everything men are doing. You guys want this Me Too movement. Y'all want to.
Why you lump us?
Rights, so
Why you lump us all together?
Well,
That's harder.
Gia, there is a thing among some women, not all women, with this dinner ghosting thing. That they'll go Friday, Saturday, Sunday with a different guy, and then they'll never call again. So men have gotten wise to that.
Supposed to pay. Even if
Yeah,
they
but
go.
men are now out of pocket. women never liked the man to begin with. They just wanted a free dinner at the famous steakhouse of their choice.
He called it the
And,
one night
and then
one night dinners. Is that what he called it? Everyone went nuts when I said that.
yeah, I said women always complain about one night stands, and we men now we got caught up with these one night.
Oh, it's glitching.
And speaking from outside of the United States, outside of the entire American culture, I have noticed a pattern of blaming one another, blaming women, blaming men. And I've been in multiple panels and I see it all the time. You're blaming each other. And I say it because I have been invited on to dinners. I am a tour guide in my country, and I get to be around, not just Americans, but like different cultures. People from France, like from Germany. So, I can see the way they behave. But because I've met a lot of tourists, I take people to touristic places. I get to meet other tourists at the same time. Now, before when I was single, I will be like asked on a date, and then I personally, without blaming, without thinking anything, I am prepared with my pocket that in case I have to leave, I am going to pay. And the reason why I'm saying this is because I was on a date where the guy was very rude. I didn't like the way he was looking at me. It was our first date, and he was really rude and touchy, and kind of like invading my personal space.
Yeah.
So I literally just asked for one drink, and the date didn't even last, not even 30 minutes. So I just felt like I wasn't comfortable with him. I raised my hand, I asked for the tab, and I paid for his beer and my drink, and I was like,
oh wow.
I don't care. I'm not forced. You cannot force me to stay. You cannot even throw that you paid for this drink or anything. But that's my standard. So that's why when I go out, I make sure that I respect the person's budget. So if you want to take me out, where do you want to take me? I accept where you want to take me because I respect your budget. Not because I want, like he said, oh, I'm expecting to be taken to this restaurant. No. Whenever we meet up and you feel like you want to take me to that place, then you take me to that place. But like, no. If you want to take me out, where do you want to take me? If you want to take me for coffee, let's go for coffee. And you know what? It happened one time, and I'm sorry I'm extending myself, but okay. I'm giving you other, like, examples. I was on another date where I was actually doing a laser session. I had an appointment somewhere in a beauty spa. So the guy texts me, he's like, hey, do you want to go for dinner or for lunch, he said. And I was like, oh, I'm actually at the mall right now. And he's like, what mall? And I said, this one. Oh, I'm here too. And do you want to meet up? And I'm like, I'm just going to get out of this and then I'll look for you. Where are you going to be? And he said, I'm going to be in this store. And I walk in to the store and he was there. So we met up there, that day. And then we went for lunch. We started talking, and then okay, I'm gonna leave now. I have to go. I said it's not that I wanted to leave, but I was like, okay, we can do something else later because I felt like it was probably, he wanted to go. I felt I had that energy from him, like he wanted to go. So I was like, I'm gonna go, and he's like, no, don't go. Like, let me take you somewhere for a coffee, and then we walked to another store for coffee. And then, after, 30 minutes probably conversation, he said, you know what, let me take you somewhere right now. And then we walked to Chuck E. Cheese. And I just accepted it. We went, we were shooting basketball. Like, I accepted. Like, he didn't want to let me go. And I was like, okay, cool. But he was doing everything possible for me not to go. And I was like, you know what? It's cool. I wasn't there for a coffee. I wasn't there. It's just cool. Like, I think if there's no expectations and you respect other people's budgets and likes and all those stuff, it goes better. But instead of saying, you know what, you're going to take me where I want you to take me and things like that. So, I don't know. It's just my opinion outside of the culture.
I definitely don't feel...
say Western philosophy is way different. He's coming over here. They come from a different cloth over here. Easily. They want you to pay your cell phone bill. They want to make you pay your power bill. Then they want to get $100 plate. And then they want
The kids to go.
Burberry in a Chanel. They want a Chanel bag, and they want all this shit before you can even get the.
Why would I ask for this if I don't have it right now? Why do I want a Chanel bag if I'm not even wearing it?
So can you come over to America and train these females?
Uh-uh.
No, you know what? And that's another thing that I see, but I guess people don't want to listen, and I will say this very respectfully. Americans look at themselves in a way that is not the same way that people from the outside look at Americans.
I would say,
and I think they really have to think. And I don't see, because I was pretty much put in a really weird position the other day in a panel because I said Americans, but to me, because I was mostly with African Americans, they refer as, and I was like, when I see you, I see Americans. I don't see a race. I see a country. And that's the problem that, when you say Latinos born in the U.S. are not Latinos to me. They are Americans. So, and it's like a Latino from the U.S. will never behave and act or have the traditions that someone from the outside, unless your family was really there to put those traditions and way of thinking in you. But if you are in the environment, you become one. I've seen it in my sister. So that's what I'm seeing there.
I don't like the feeling of obligation when someone spends money before I know I like them. I don't mind if a man spends money on me, but I have to like him first. So for me, mine's a little bit unusual, but I don't like formal first dates. I like little meetups. I like, they've had to pass the video chat first. And then after that, then it needs to be a very simple meetup. I don't care if we go work out. I don't care if we take a walk, ride a bike, but I don't like that feeling of obligation, and it's just this icky feeling for me. Gia, were you going to add something before we go on to the next topic? It looked like you were going to share something.
No, usually the man make the decision anyway. They say we're going here. They say where they're going, where they're going to take you.
Yeah.
Usually.
Yeah. No, it's true.
And I have money to pay if I have to, but I would prefer you to pay. You going out? When we going? Why you call me to go out and you're not paying? I'm not pulling out no $50 and $60 out of my pocket, or because you asked me out, and it's the first date. I can see 2 and 3 days down the line. Okay, I don't mind, but the first date, I think, and I'll go to a coffee shop. I don't mind. I don't care where they take me.
Right.
But I'm not gonna pull out my pocket and pay for me and you, and I don't even know you.
Yeah, I'm so traditional. I can't.
Can I say something real quick before that? I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
You know what? Something I have noticed, and I agree with Gia, because I also have been into this. It's pretty much common courtesy that, because that's what it is. When you ask someone out, you cannot just ask someone, hey, let's go to Paris, and then let's go on a trip, and then what? Like, do you have money to travel? Are you inviting me? You're gonna pay for everything? Come on, it's the same thing. So you cannot say just let's go and not think that person is really struggling, because we don't know. So I personally, when I've been on dates, like, I have never had to pay except that one time that I wanted to leave, but I really wanted to leave. And I have not been in a date where, I don't make it clear there that I'm not interested or I'm interested, because I didn't want to make that person feel that, okay, you know what, I appreciate the dinner, but I don't think it's going to happen again. Because that's something that has to.
Yeah, from a man standpoint, I don't have an issue paying, and especially, just traditional wise, I guess. And like I said, all of the decisions, at the end of the day, there's variables to everything. So, but at the end of the day, we're going to date and treat our mates and stuff, and the decisions that we make are based upon how we were raised and what we believe. But for me personally, I don't have an issue paying for a date. But I've had times where I dated somebody and she's like, oh, I got half of it. I was like, no, you don't have to do that. You know what I mean? But my issue is when women come to the table, not physical table, but come to the table demanding or asking for money off the rip.
Yeah, making
That's
demands.
when I have an issue. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I
Like, how you gonna ask me for $40?
right.
Or I had somebody say, in order for me to talk to them, in order for me to be able to date them, I had to buy them this, and this. I'm like, what you mean? What are you?
Wow, the
You know what I mean?
audacity.
Oh yeah, it happens all the time. This Atlanta. You gotta remember Atlanta different. Atlanta.
Wow.
Atlanta.
Yeah, maybe Atlanta. But we don't come. I come with my own money. I'm not buying you. If I need a Chanel bag, I can buy my own.
Woo.
I mean, that's we get further down the line. You just want to give me a gift or something.
Yeah.
You want to give me a gift? I'm fine with.
I did.
But I'm not going to say you got to.
Oh no, it's frozen.
Taking this a different direction and in a gentler direction, like Saida mentioned.
I see you. Oh man.
Come across a lot of folks that have not had that done that work, and they put themselves out there in the rat race of dating, and due to either past pain or present pride or just poor patience, it makes up for some tumultuous conversations and happenings because like I said, there could be a whole lot of different labels you can put on people who do that, but I'll just say they need some inner healing.
Yeah, no, sorry, there was a little bit of a glitch. I definitely think that it's difficult because there are so many people who are doing what I would call messed up things, and then it kind of ruins it for the other people. You know, like Kenny was saying, someone coming and demanding. And for me, I'm like, I just want a normal first date. I will say this. I have felt for the first time what it must feel like for a guy to be really judged on his finances, because I had a guy say that I was basically his dream, woman, but he ended up saying at the end, I didn't make enough money for him. And I was so blown away by that. I have never in my life, and he tried to justify it by saying, I want to leave a legacy for, your kids and mine, and this is what I envision. And it was the weirdest feeling. And I understand that happens, a lot with guys, I'm sure, because women are looking to the guys to, provide for the household or whatnot. But that was the weirdest feeling ever. And as a woman, I would never want to feel like I am bringing to the table finances. I don't mind sharing what I do bring in, but I would never want to feel the pressure of like, you need to make this amount to be contributing. That was a weird feeling. So respect to the guys who have ever felt like they were walking ATMs. All right, we're going to switch it up. We're going to take a little lighthearted. Shout out to my girl, Sai. Hey, love. What is the pettiest reason you have ever stopped dating someone? We weren't dating, but I didn't go on a second date because the guy had long fingernails. That's probably the pettiest thing I could think of. But what have you guys, what's the pettiest reason to stop talking to somebody?
Your shoes don't look right. Your shoes is going out with some shoes bad. I think that's.
I appreciate the honesty. A lot of people look at the shoe game.
Yeah, I mean, your shoes don't have to, but if you have on dirty tennis shoes or something, or if your shoes are kind of run down. But that's kind of petty, because you can change the shoes. I mean, he can change his shoes.
It is petty, but that is the topic, so I respect it. Anyone else want to throw themselves under the bus like us?
Gia just made me think that I was not dating. We were talking, talking. And that was our first date, actually, because it was like a Christmas party from work. And something happened at the party that they had to end the party early. And we left. But he's like, you know what, let's go to my house. So we went there, and I was like, oh, I really don't want to, but okay. And then he removed his shoes and his stinky feet. I was like, I can't deal with this. So
no bueno.
Never again. No one.
No.
Oh, she said
Poor kid.
stinky feet. Some people have like chronically stinky feet. It's like on another level.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry. So I don't want to. I don't want to get to that point where I have to stick with or settle for that because no. Even my throat was itchy. It was so bad that
Oh
it was
my
itchy in my
God.
nose. I was like, no, I can't do this. I was like, I have to go.
Oh man, yeah, hygiene is big. Anyone else?
I was talking to this lady when I lived in Montgomery. I used to live in Montgomery, Alabama, and she was actually older than I was. Actually, come to think about it, but I had met her when I used to do club promotions back in Alabama or whatever, and we started kicking it. We were hanging out or whatever. So one night I was at a pool tournament.
No.
Her pants.
It's Russian for you.
Wait.
He- she-
Hey, y'all said the most petty. That's the most petty thing. And I felt bad because I tried to holler at her again. She didn't answer the phone no more.
Oh,
It's like, that's it.
and my
Wait,
internet.
what did you say?
Yeah, my internet glitched out, so you got to repeat what it was that she did. Sorry, I lost all of that.
Oh, you lost connection?
Yeah, so you just got to repeat what she did. You were
Oh.
saying she's older than you, and then
Oh, no, so this is a lady that I was talking to or whatever, and I was at a pool tournament up the road at a little venue up the road from her house. And I was like, oh yeah, she live over there, So I was like, I called her up. I was like, hey, I'm up the street. Why don't you come up here? We can get a couple of drinks or whatever like that, because I was in the pool tournament. So she get up there, and her shirt was not ironed, her pants were not ironed, her hair looked like it had barely just like I'm talking not a little wrinkle here and there. I'm talking about like that thing dried in. It's like the shirt dried itself in the washing machine, and the pants did too, and she just pulled them apart. That's how bad it was. And all my friends, everybody at the little venue at the bar, joked me out so bad that I stopped talking to her the next day. I couldn't even bring her around no more.
Maybe she kept her clothes in a backpack. she wanted to stay ready.
Ain't nobody asked you for your juice.
That is rough. If someone said in the comments about the stinky feet comment, how do you know their feet stink unless your nose is 2 inches from his feet? That's how you know the person's feet stink. If you are not close to them, and
That's how bad it was.
That's how bad it
That's
was.
how
Yeah.
bad it was. Like I think, but you know what? It's like, let me clarify on this because I lived all my life with my dad. He's a man, right? And he would come to work and he would literally grab his socks and throw it at me. That's the kind of dad that jokingly. I'm not saying disrespect. He's a joker. He's a pranker. So I know what it smells like to sweaty, but just working regular, like
normal
day,
stink.
That's a normal thing.
Yeah.
But no, those are like, they got wet. Those shoes got wet. He never washed them. That
was a fungus smell.
Yeah, it was like an athlete's foot.
Something else. That was like the strongest piece.
Yeah, I've smelled athlete's feet before, and it's on another. It's like that. Your stomach curls. Someone said in the comments, he said he stopped dating someone because of a bad Wi-Fi connection, and I can't even laugh at that because I'm out here with the satellite internet right now. Oh my goodness.
What's the most petty thing? Yeah, see, what's the most petty thing you did?
Mine I was saying is the fingernails. The guy drove like over an hour for our first date, and we sat down, and I remember he pulled his phone out to show me pictures, and as he's holding the phone, I was like, and I have a thing about long nails, and I remember I snuck a picture with my phone because I was like, my cousin has to see this because we would always tell each other. They were so long. I don't understand the reason for any man to have long nails. And I'm weird, even with natural nails on women. There's something about long nails that just grosses me out. I can deal with acrylics, but when I just see those really long, it just, ugh. So I just couldn't. I couldn't imagine. Everything he said was like, wah, wah, wah. I couldn't even focus anymore by that. You guys, I'm actually going to wrap here. You on the panel know I had a lot more questions, but we've actually already gone an hour. And it looks like it's freezing again. Oh, Lord.
Miss Westbrook's. Yours.
Huh?
Hell, you can say huh, you can hear him.
Not really. I didn't hear anything. That's why, huh? Okay, Grandpa.
How did you know? I appreciate it.
Grandpa. But the pettiest thing.
You know she got a story.
Probably
Trying to
just
pick one out.
it's getting hot in here. Probably just a house, like a dirty house.
It's not petty.
Yeah,
It's not petty because if a man can't keep a dirty, if a man keeps a dirty car or a dirty house, or like Gia said, dirty shoes, he's not a clean dude anyway. There's a difference between a dirty house and a messy house. You can be messy all day long, but if you dirty, that's different. Yeah, that's different.
When you're scared to sit on the
A
seat,
messy house?
you want to put your coat down. Yeah, that's pretty gross. Well, you guys, my internet seems like it's getting worse and worse as the time goes on, but we are actually at the hour. Thank you so much to everyone in the comments. I can't believe y'all hung this long with this internet. Pray for me because I don't know any other resource. I might have to go to a remote location on Monday night so that I can get some good Wi-Fi again. But I appreciate the conversation. I'll bring these questions that we have remaining back for next week. But I appreciate you guys joining me. And for those of you who have not yet gone on, make sure you join my chasingyancy.com. There's a link in the description here, but you can try it out for 30 days free. I think it's glitching again. Oh, goodness.
Yeah, guys, you guys make sure that you like and share the stream today. Make sure that you pass that along. Put some comments in there. Like
Follow me
smash.
on Instagram, all the social outlets, meet your mate, all that good stuff.
We're your co-announcers today, Yancy.
I know. I appreciate that. And it's weird because you guys can hear each other, but everything goes out for me. But you can get the link in my bio. There's a 30-day free trial, so you could test it out. But let's get this community going, have these conversations. And when I get enough people, we'll be doing the live streams within the group as well. So it'll be like a live Zoom call. And that's where the 4 marriages came from my group, just having these conversations. As you can see, you can learn a lot about someone's personality in a very short time. So thank you guys so much. For those who are suggesting StreamYard, it's my internet. So any service that's going to be relying on the internet, it's going to be a struggle. I'm in the boonies. So anyway, guys, thank you so much for joining me. I appreciate your time. And if you guys are going to stick around, just make sure you mute yourself for just a moment for my panel. Thank you guys and have a good night.